Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on October 8th, 2025. I'm here with the great Thomas Pistachio Elascio. Now, he's got to turn the camera a little. He's in his car. He's got to turn the camera so we can see. You're not driving. You're not moving, apparently.
No. I'm wait. My dad had some surgery, so I'm sitting in the parking lot.
Okay, well, his name's the same as yours, isn't it? Thomas
Correct.
Pistachio Elascio?
Yep.
Okay. I'm wishing him well, okay? But the first thing we're going to do, unfortunately, is attack Richie Rich Rosen. He's not here. He's at the Pinnacle Society this week. But he said on his LinkedIn, okay? You with me, Tom? You're
Yeah.
listening? Okay. He said that guilt by association is a big problem. He said in your LinkedIn feed, and the place he started off with was the Epstein files. Remember, Epstein used to invite all kinds of famous people to his island, and no, I don't think that many of them were involved in any kind of nefarious activities. Okay, they had Dershowitz had to clear himself. Steven Pinker was there. Bill Gates was there. Bill Clinton, who knows what was going on with him? But here's the thing: when he got in trouble, they were in trouble too. They had to clear their names. Okay, so they appeared in pictures and on his invitation lists and stuff like that. So Rich said you got to watch out in your LinkedIn feed. Okay, he said here's the brutal business truth. Whom you associate with or who you associate with matters. You might have the best resume in the world, but if you're hanging out with the professional version of the cast from Tiger King, don't act surprised when the phone stops ringing.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that post, and I agreed with it wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because
give me an example. What is he talking about?
What do you mean? I mean, I think the
my
Tiger
LinkedIn
King and the
feed.
Epstein.
What am I gonna? There's someone will see Tom and say, "I don't like Tom. How can he hang a Michael? How can a recruiting animal hang around with him?"
No. I think what Rich was saying to that is individuals who are toxic, right? So, is there an example? No, because I don't associate with toxic people, right? But if you're like, and maybe I got this wrong, but I also look at it as LinkedIn is a business.
Give me an example of where Rich was right, and I'm going to give you another example after that. Okay, or maybe I'll talk and then you think. Okay, remember Mel Gibson got drunk. The cops stopped him.
Mm-hmm.
He started saying bigoted things, and then his father was a Holocaust denier, and he wouldn't say he disagreed with his father.
There's no doubt. Mel Gibson has his issues. He's
So he was for a while, a few years, he was in everybody's bad books, or at least many people's. But Robert Downey Jr. was still his friend, because when Robert Downey Jr. was drunk, Mel Gibson was his friend. He helped him. Okay, so Robert Downey obviously didn't agree with the stuff that Mel Gibson was saying, because it was against people like him, right? But but he didn't denounce him as a friend. He stayed his friend. Okay, so what's Rich saying? Don't be friends with people just because somebody else might not like them.
I've gotten really drunk, and I've never said a single racist or bigoted thing, right? I've gotten super stoned, and I've never said a racist or bigoted thing. I have a problem with that. And if Robert Downey Jr. wants to remain friends with him because he helped him, but I would separate myself. I'd be like, look, yeah, the guy helped me.
Oh, really?
I didn't know he was a racist, bigoted piece of shit. That's what I would say.
We're getting too deep into Mel Gibson. I want to talk about your LinkedIn feed. Is there any parallel there?
No, because first of all, I don't have anybody on there that I'm like I don't treat it like Facebook. Right?
You're not friends with them. They're a business network. You don't even know most of them.
Exactly. And if someone was very toxic, I would delete them immediately. If they were all of a sudden posting horrible stuff, I'm going to boom. I don't want to be associated with them.
That can't be what Rich is talking about. So you see something from someone you don't know that's awful, and you wouldn't hesitate to cut them off just because you don't like that crap. Okay.
Yeah. And if someone, I guess the guilt by association would be if you continued to repost his stuff or continue to have him talk on your feed or comment on your feed and you didn't do anything about it, and everybody's like, why is Rich friends with this crazy person?
Yeah, but there's nothing. It just seems so. I don't know. I just didn't know where he was going. I'll move on. I'm moving on.
Okay.
Okay. Now there was a whole bunch of talk about what it was interesting about what kind of tech, if you're starting up a recruiting agency today, what basic tech do you need? Okay. And some really smart people, well experienced, came up with widely different things. Clark Wilcox from the Digital Recruiter Show,
Yeah.
he said, this is your fave. He said, the Sales Navigator on LinkedIn. Okay. He said, Dripify, Sales QL, again, a favorite of yours, but
disturbing. So hold on one second. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear anything you said. I don't know what happened. I lost you.
okay, I can hear you.
Okay, there we go. Now I can hear you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I heard Clark Wilcox, Digital Recruiter, and then my phone
Okay.
started ringing. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to start again. Tommy,
Okay.
so I can edit it out easily.
Yes.
Tommy, okay, there was a discussion on Facebook about what technology you need if you're starting a new recruiting agency, just the basics, okay? And a bunch of interesting people commented. Clark Wilcox from the Digital Recruiter Show, he said, you need Sales Navigator, your favorite, Dripify, Sales QL, another favorite of yours, okay, and Google Sheets for his ATS. He said that's all you don't really need an applicant tracking system. Okay. So do you endorse Dripify as well?
No, I would endorse Loxo or Create or Jobin or some ATS that has a campaign feature like Dripify included into it versus Google Sheets and Dripify, right? Like I don't have the technical wherewithal or the organizational skills to use Google Sheets as my ATS. So I would say you need, the free version of Loxo, right? The lower tier of Jobin, Sales QL, and LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and you're good to go.
Okay. So here's Rich. Rich said, here's my tech stack. I've never seen him state it so clearly. Pin.com, he's on their advisory board now. He's got equity. Okay. Cluely, which
love
is
it. I use it too.
Okay. Would you consider it essential for a new company?
No. Note taker is essential. And Cluely's cheap. So, again, is a note taker essential, right? So if you're just starting out, it's nice to have. It's like you tell me what your budget is, and I'll work you through that. But ideally, you need an ATS, a contact finder, and Sales Navigator. Those three things are a must fucking have. And then if you have extra money, then we can go into that. But those three things are must have.
Okay, so he's Rich is pin.com, Cluely.com. That's CLUELY for somebody who's interested. And these guys rave about it. Okay, if you're watching this, and I know you're not.
Yeah, Cluely is amazing. Cluely is amazing.
Okay, okay, Rich is Swordfish and Signal Hire for his contact finders. Comet Browser, that everybody was turned on by you, and he says this is his AI tools: Perplexity, ChatGPT, and Claude AI. Okay. Anything else you want to say about his comments?
I would say I use Typing Mind, which gives me access to all those and more. I don't use something like Pin, but I think if you want something like that, there's nothing wrong with it. There's Pin, there's Noon, there's Go Perfect, and there's Juicebox. So yeah, I mean,
how expensive? How expensive is Pin?
Pin's around $200. Noon's around 400. And
200 a month?
Yeah, and Noon's 400 a month ish, and the other two are in like the 150ish range.
Okay, and those for people who don't know are sourcing tools. Is it fair to?
They're sourcing tools that incorporate AI, and they're supposed to learn how you source and learn what you're looking for, so it does a better job as it grows with you. I was impressed by Noon, but not enough to pay $400 a month.
Okay. And here, a guy named Christian said, Typing Mind, and Tom's been endorsing that for a long time. Although you've never resolved if you have access to the latest.
I do.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we've resolved all that because I have access to everything as it comes out. Maybe like not that day, it's like the next day.
Okay. Here's what he said: Typing Mind, N8N. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, N8N, Make, and Zapier are all kind of the same. They are automation systems that you can use to do all kinds of things with Google Sheets, with Clay, with your applicant tracking system, with Outlook, with Open. Yeah, so it's an automation system.
And you're not interested in that personally? I can use.
I can use. I've used Clay, not Clay. I've used Make, and I've messed around with N8N and Zapier. It's a lot to set up, but once you get it set up, it can do good automation for you. I just haven't found anything that I really need to work on right now, but I know how to use two of them.
Craig Fisher used to be very big on Zapier. I don't know about, haven't talked about it lately, but this is anybody who's interested. It's the letter N, the figure 8, and the letter N. Okay, and
it's a competitor, and the tech guys really like N8N because it's cheaper and it's highly customizable, and there's a lot you can do with it. That Zapier is kind of locked down, and Make is in between the two, right? So Make's got some good educational stuff where you can go on and tell them what you want and they'll help you build it. So I like Make for that reason. I've only messed a little bit around with N8N.
Okay, the same guy uses Perplexity Pro, Google Workspace, which I think you don't have anymore, do you?
I have Outlook or Microsoft
Right.
365.
Okay.
Yeah.
Christian also endorses Sales Nav for LinkedIn and Outreach Automators, Closely and ManyReach. You know them?
Closely, no. ManyReach I've heard, and they automate, I'm assuming, connection requests and stuff like that, as well as emails.
Okay, and he uses Airtable, I assume, as his applicant tracking system. It's a fancy.
Yeah, if he's using N8N, he's using Airtable. That's kind of like a must-have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So does that take a lot of learning in order to?
I don't make the way my brain works. Yes, for me, a ton. Right, it's very difficult for me to absorb that.
Yeah, but you learn tons about AI.
There's certain things that resonate with me and certain things that don't, and the stuff that like N8N and Make and using Airtable and Appify and stuff like that is very difficult for me. I struggle with it.
Okay. So yeah, and that's going to be a problem if you're a recruiter and you're trying to work and teach yourself how to use all these tools. It could be hard. Okay.
Yeah, weapons of mass distraction is what we used to call them, and you can get caught up in that.
Okay, here's another guy with really scaled down Excel and Sales Nav and a phone. I think that's Anthony. You know Anthony.
Is that Tony?
Yeah, I guess his name is Tony.
He's fucking with you because he uses Loxo.
Oh, he uses Loxo?
Yeah, he's on my team.
And he uses Excel.
You're talking about Anthony Alchi, right? Tony Alchi?
I think so.
Yeah, he uses Loxo. He's on my team.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, he's got it with a beard and he's bald.
Yeah. What's up, Tom?
Hey, how are you guys?
Okay.
Every day above ground's a wonderful day.
We're going through these recommendations for if you're starting a new agency. What are the essential tools? And the next one is actually Gavin, who used to be a regular. We like him a lot. He's over in the UK, and he works on.
No, isn't Gavin in Belgium?
Well, he lives in Belgium, but he says he's a native of Great Britain. Okay. And he goes back and forth, I think. Okay, so he just chose Atlas as his applicant tracking system, and he has a lot to say about that. He said we had demos from 8 different applicant tracking systems, and it was a no-brainer. Okay, Rich didn't say that. I
disagree too. I think Atlas is good, but it still has issues.
Oh yeah, he said Atlas was the only one that had a completely different message. Their aim is to get rid of all the annoying administrative tasks, and it's built up from AI as a base. Okay. And he said they're listening to the little people like they all do at the start, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so
I had demoed Spot and Stardex last week, and I was impressed by both of them as well.
Yeah.
Spot I really was impressed with. Yeah, they got some good stuff.
So if you've got a sales rep showing you their stuff and you're not going to buy it, what do you say at the end? How do you close it off?
I go immediately and say I'm a Loxo user. I've been a Loxo user since 2016. But I'm not adverse to changing, and I'm always checking out new applicant tracking systems. And since you guys are new, I want to do a demo. That's what I tell them straight up.
They don't mind spending a half an hour on a demo with you?
No, not at all. Because I will if the right system comes. Right, I was very interested in Atlas. Right, so if the right system comes, I will switch. But it's really going to take a lot for me to switch, and.
But also, they can get a lot of really good feedback from you Okay.
and I mentioned it too, like on the roundtable stuff. I'll say, hey guys, check out Spot, check out Stardex. It's really good. Check out Noon. I'll talk about them. Because I think they're, if they're good, like this one we did, Dom and I and a bunch of other ones all tried out the one that's built off of Salesforce, and that's really not that good.
Okay.
No.
And with regards to Dripify, which we mentioned a few minutes ago, a woman named Monica said it's $60 a month to send only 20 connection requests. She said, I can do that
What?
Yeah, I can't believe it. She says, I can do that in 2 minutes. I can't believe 60, but for 20? No, there's no way, right?
No.
Not 20 a month. I can't believe that's what Dripify locks you down to. I mean, Jobin's 50 a day, 250 a week. They stay within the parameters of what LinkedIn tells them, which is if you have Navigator or Recruiter, you're at 250 a day, 250 a week.
Uh-huh. Okay, this other guy, geez, I wonder if I wanted to talk about this, just came to mind. Okay, yeah, this guy said he's got Manatel for his applicant tracking system. He used their Chrome extension last Friday to enrich 5 of his first-degree contacts on LinkedIn. I guess to find out their contact information and stuff like that. And he said LinkedIn blocked all of his third-party extensions. But a woman said, she said LinkedIn can see whatever extensions you use in Chrome. It doesn't matter if it's coming from Manatel or anybody else.
That's not true.
No?
No.
So
the reason that Jobin is able to hide behind the scenes is because the way that they do it is you tell it what you want, and then it goes elsewhere using their system to get it, and then puts it into your system. I don't. It's hard for me to explain, but
they've got a third party between LinkedIn
it's
and
some
you.
weird thing. And I would say it's interesting. The cheaper stuff, right? Like Manatel, it's like $12 is what's is getting people banned, right? Some of the cheaper
It's not 12,
tools,
is it? Not $12, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like $12 or $14 a month.
20 in Canada then.
Well, Canadian pesos, but in the US it's $12, $14. I think there's even a cheaper version for a year. You get it for like $3. I mean, it's
Wow.
I checked it out. And it's stuff like that you end up paying for when it's all said and done. What's reacting, Doc? Tom?
Pretty cool. You can spy on competitors. You can pull. It's kind of like a Dripify, but different use cases.
Okay, that's React, REACT.IN. Is that right? I couldn't see
IO,
it.
No.
I think.
REACTIN.io.
REACTIN.io.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And what is that?
An all-in-one LinkedIn outreach tool.
Okay. And
Yeah, you can do a lot with it.
you use it, Don?
I'm just starting to play around with it because they want me to do a post for them, a sponsored post. And I said, before I do that, I got to play around with it. But
This is interesting. $29 a month, 1,000 enrichment credits,
yeah,
unlimited LinkedIn invites.
Okay. Moving on.
Interesting.
Dominic, do
Very
you ever
smart
worry
guy.
that you've got you're friends with people on LinkedIn or you're associated with them and somebody will see, hey, that Dominic is linked to this guy. He's a bad person. Now I don't like Dominic either. Does that ever concerned you? Never concerned me in my life. It concerns
No.
Rich. Rich is worried.
Rich was talking about that guilt by association with Epstein and the Tiger King. And I mean, it resonates, but I've never had
I'll
an
tell
issue on LinkedIn.
You know how many people we all talk to every day? How are you possibly going to know what somebody's doing in their life? I don't even know what's going on in my own life with my kids,
Yeah.
let alone other people's lives.
Okay. Okay. How interested should a candidate seem when they go out, to the interview? This guy, I think this is another Rich. Rich said, expect your top candidates to show interest, but not to swoon over the chance to work with you. They have options. Lots of other people want them too. So how what should they just say? I'm in a good mood. I'm going to have a pleasant conversation, but they don't have to seem like a fresh grad who's peppy. I'm desperate to work here. They don't need that. You don't want that
I
from
mean,
them.
no, I mean, you're if you are a rock star recruited passive candidate, right? You have to be sold. Obviously, you have to sell yourself if you're interested in the opportunity, but you have to be sold by the client too. So if a client expects some passive candidate with 7 years experience and a rock star sales record to go in there and be like, "Oh, I can't wait to work for your company," like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, they're not even looking. Most of the people we deal with, they're not looking.
Correct.
Okay, so but has anyone ever gotten back to you, a client, and said, "Listen, Tom, this guy doesn't seem excited enough to work here"?
Yeah, I'm sure that's happened before.
Okay, but it's not something that comes to, oh yeah, that happened to me last week. No, it's not a regular.
Like I can, in my 27, almost 28 years, there's a couple that kind of like when I was early on in my career, this one guy said it wasn't his job to sell candidates. They should want to come work for him.
Okay, that's a dope. Okay, that's a
that's a dope. And those are the kind of things that kind of stick out in my brain. But I've had people go, well, he interviewed, he just he didn't seem excited at all at any time. And we know he's got a job, we know he's happy, but he just never really, I mean, I've had that happen maybe once or twice. I'm thinking about it. So, but it's not something I often have because the idea behind it is I drag them kicking and screaming to, like, say, the phone interview. And then after that, they have to have an interest, right? They have to say to me, you know what, you're right. I wasn't looking, I was happy, but this seems like a good opportunity. So from that point forward, they don't need to swoon, but they need to show some interest, right? They need to go to the interview prepared. They need to go to the interview asking questions and whatnot if they are serious about the opportunity. So after the first interview, if I don't see them being like, yeah, this is something I want to pursue, then why would you send them to the second interview? Does that resonate with either of you?
Anyway, Dominic, do you want to say anything? No. Okay.
Sorry.
Ernie showing us his ceiling again. Thank you.
What's going on, Ernie? You called me yesterday and I didn't get back to you, and I apologize.
It looks like he's being grilled by the police with a really bright light shining in his face.
Story of my life, man.
Okay. Okay, here's a different situation, Tom and Ernie, and Dom, you can continue working, but if you want to get into the conversation, just let me know, okay?
I hear you.
That's okay. I like him, just like having him here. I don't care if he talks or not. It's up to him. Okay, but here's the situation. You call someone, she's perfect for your job, okay? She says, I'm happy where I am, but I think we're going to get merged or get bought out by another company, and I have concerns. I don't know if it's going to be the same for me. She's not worried about losing her job there. She just wonders if things are going to change, and she won't know till the end of the year. Okay, that's 3 months away. So, what would you say to her? Would you say, go ahead and just check it out? That when you're uncertain like this, it's worthwhile looking at a variety of opportunities. But then you have to tell your client as well, hey, this is her situation. She might want to stay when the change takes place. She won't know till the end of the year. What would you guys do in that kind of a situation? She's great. She's a perfect candidate. Okay. Anybody? Ernie, you want to talk? I can't hear you. I can hear you. Ernie. Oh, you're writing. You're going to write and show me on the pad. No, nobody's going to talk. Is everybody frozen? No. Dominic's moving. Tom looks frozen. Dominic, say something so I can see if I can hear you.
Hey.
Yeah, is Tom frozen?
I think so.
And what's Ernie? Oh, Ernie's gone. Okay, that's your thing. Okay, yeah. Okay, you can go back then. Do you want to address that? You must have had a situation like that.
What was the question? Sorry.
Okay, you got a great candidate. Perfect. Okay, as perfect can be, and she's in a company where she's happy, but there's some kind of merger taking place. She won't know till the end of the year what's going to be like, and if it's good, she wants to stay there. Okay, what would you do? So there's 3 months away.
Well, that's funny that you brought that up. I just dealt with somebody that just happened to, and what that caused is that always causes a change in leadership. So you got to figure out, is it a private equity company coming in? Who's coming in to buy them out? Look at their track record. Usually you'll see that they'll change up leadership immediately, which then has a trickle down effect. That's what happened to this girl. And she's in that same position trying to decide what to do. But she's at 175K base right now. And in this market, where is she going to go and get that right now? Probably
Okay,
nowhere.
but did you have another job for her?
No.
Okay, you didn't. If you did, okay, what would you say? She wanted to stay where she is, but she's uncertain about what's going to happen in the new year. She's not going to lose her job. She's just not sure she'll be as happy there anymore.
Like
you
present
said, the leadership changes.
present her the option. Present her the option that we have and see if it's a good fit. If it's a good fit, let me know.
Yeah, but would you? She's absolutely not going to make a move before the end of the year. Okay, would you forget about her, or would you tell your client, "I want you to see this candidate, but you know what? She's really good, but she is not immediately available." Would you present her anyway?
Probably not.
No, really, Ernie, you want to take that one on?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you
Okay.
now.
I appreciate it. No, I would probably dig deeper into what she wants to do, and not having heard what these two geniuses have said, but I would want to know what she wants to do. And she tells me she doesn't want to do anything until the end of the year. My reasoning would be, why is that? Because sometimes they're given an opportunity if they stay on bonus and things of that sort. But I think you got to just have a conversation and then go back and say, okay, but in the meantime, you need to probably set up your resume and things of that sort. Do you have any of that? And if you don't have any of that, maybe we can look at that.
No, but you've got a client who she's perfect, okay? What would you do? Forget about her like Dominic would, or would you try to get her out there to see them anyway?
It depends on the salary. If the salary is above what she's making now, otherwise I would not waste my time with her.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. No, unless you're ready to make a move, this whole
she
thing.
Might be ready. She might be ready.
No. But what she's telling you, I'm not ready. She's telling you what she believes, and you're not really going to convince her, because I have found that 90% of the time they haven't decided what to do.
But your client might convince her if she goes out and talks.
A lot of it depends on where the client is and everything else. But for that matter,
bringing in all kinds of extraneous.
I could say she's next. Okay, it's next door.
Yeah, good location,
and it's her cousin that owns the company, and she's
that's complicating it. Okay,
but I mean, no. I'm saying the reality of it is, usually it's a move. Even if it's local, she still doesn't want to move. So you aren't gonna move the mountain.
Okay, boy, you guys are tougher, and you've got, you know what? See, once you can see the fish in the water, it's hard to turn your back. You have no problem,
except for the fact that you have a client that relies on you to do the job.
You tell the client, look,
and you kids say, send me your stuff, I'll show you, and then you tell the client, here's a person she doesn't want to move to the end of the month. You want to look at her? Fine.
You know what? I think it's always worth telling your client, look, I got a good candidate. She's only going to be kicking the tires, so why not spend a little time with her? Okay, anyway, that's my point of view.
I guess I wouldn't tell them to spend a little time with her. I would just tell them, here's a situation where you want to talk to her.
That's what I would do. Tommy Pistachio, are you gone? Are you busy with your family? He's waiting for his father. What did you say? Did he say something? No.
He didn't say anything.
Okay, so it's me against, I was looking for him to stand up for me, okay? It's you two guys against me. Okay, what about this? Someone posted, hiring managers are seduced by charisma. They are charmed by a slick presentation, not the person who can build and execute. And the gap between the two is massive. Now, I want to give Ernie some kudos, okay? He said something about 2 weeks ago that I thought was really smart, okay? Let me see if I can that build-up. I don't know if I can remember what it was. Yeah, you said, Ernie, that the weaker candidates always are in a position to put on a better presentation in an interview because they get let go when there's a problem. The good candidates don't get tons of experience going around looking for jobs. The bad candidates or the mediocre ones are the ones who are always or more often on the search. So they become better presenters. I never thought of that myself, and I owe that wisdom to you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So, but what about this? Are the hiring managers seduced by that slick presentation rather than by people who are can really do the job better? I guess you would say yes, based on what I just said. Is that true or not?
Yeah, that's true. I think it's kind of like you kind of look at it like dating. The guy that stays at home doesn't know how to play the field. The guy who's always in the bars has the right sayings, knows what to say, is smooth.
Dominic, see you later. Okay, he's gone.
He's a little smoother, and there's certain lines you say, and they get their certain stories. But again, you can if you know how to play the game of interviewing, then you have a better chance.
Okay.
But that's why it's important to prep the people that you're sending to an interview that haven't gone to interviews, that have been working at the same place for the longest time.
Okay, here's a basic issue.
I can't hear you. There you go.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, you're embarrassing me. You know, if there was actually people watching this, I would be embarrassed, but I don't have to be embarrassed. I posted the show from last week.
I can't imagine you embarrassed.
I posted the show on LinkedIn last week, and you weren't here, but it was a good show. And I think it got like 23 impressions in what's that, like a thousandth of a second?
No,
but it was good. Okay, so here's a basic thing. Okay, post-interview questions. Okay, which ones do you ask? And someone made a list, and I want to run them by you. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Did what they describe match what I told you? That's a basic question, but I don't think a lot of people necessarily ask it. Was the job as described by me? Do you ever say that?
Yeah, you could. I would say something like that.
You do say something like that, or do you just say, "What do you think?" and then it's up to them to come up with.
What I really, the first thing I asked him is, "How did it end?" And,
okay,
I asked that because because if I know certain things, like if I know that they have nobody, and then they tell me, "Oh, I did really well," and then they said, "But they have other candidates they're interviewing," I know that's a lie. And I know that's their way of telling them they don't like him.
Okay.
So that would be my first question. I go, it's important to ask. And did you ask for the job? No, I didn't. Okay. And you know, then
would you tell them to ask? Do you tell them to ask for the job before they go out?
Tell them that they have an interest in the job. You know, when you go for an interview, it's like you have to tell them you're interested in that job. Not that I'm looking and what do you think? And I don't know. You got to actually sell yourself because you want to go to that company.
So and you do that by telling them at the end, what did you think? How do I match the position? Or
you know, say, is there anything that we discussed today that would lead you to believe that I'm not qualified for this position? I'd like to hear that because perhaps I may have a question, an answer for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then you go from there.
Okay. So the second thing this person would ask is, how does this job compare to what you're doing right now? Do you like that one?
I like it. It's good.
But you don't use it.
It's not. It's to me when you go through the interview, it's kind of like, you know, just trying to figure out what they're saying, and that's a good way of doing it. But there are other ways of doing it. But
there's another one. I don't think I've ever asked any of these questions. Can you see yourself working there? But probably just in a different wording, to tell you the truth. Can you see yourself working there? That's not bad.
No, that's a good one. But the biggest thing there is, to me, did you get along with the people you interviewed? How'd you get along with the person that would be your hiring manager?
Okay, what are you looking for there? Get along. I thought he was a great guy. I enjoyed talking to him. Is that?
That's pretty interesting. That's a good point. because the reality of it is, in any company you go to, it could be a small one or a big one, it's your boss that makes the company good or bad. And if I have it could be the greatest company in the world with the greatest people and the greatest pay, but if my boss is an ass, I hate that job.
Can you tell in an hour if the boss is somebody you're going to like to work with?
Sometimes, personality-wise, you could hear like, well, I don't know what you're saying, and that's not my style, and I don't want, well, can you tell me what you're doing? It's kind of like it's F you.
Tom, are you back?
Yep.
Can you hear us? Yeah. Is your dad okay?
Yeah. I just needed to go check and see what was going on.
Okay. In an hour, if let's say you send out your candidate, spends an hour with the hiring manager, can she tell if she's going to like working with that person? I really like. She says, Tom. You say, what do you think? Well, I can't remember the question we asked. What was your question there, Ernie? How do you go along with the?
Yeah. What'd you think? What'd you think of your hiring manager there?
Okay. If she says, Tom, I really liked him. I enjoyed talking to him. Can she trust that initial impression as a good indicator of what it's going to be like working there if she takes the job?
I would say enough that it would make her comfortable to work there, but I don't think you can uncover everything.
Yeah.
So,
Well, on the other hand, if she said, no, I couldn't stand him, he was a cold fish and I didn't feel comfortable, that would rule it out, right?
yeah.
What would you say if she told you that, Ernie? Kind of a cold fish. I really didn't feel comfortable talking to her.
Well, I think you'd have to say, well, you've got that kind of decision to make. I would tell you otherwise, and I think maybe give it some more time.
I think there's a lot of recruiters who would try to talk the candidate out of their initial impression if it was negative.
The thing is, you don't know about your own candidate sometimes. They may be a freak. And that's number one. Number two is the other thing is, even if you make a placement and there's not a fit, you think of that replacement fee and doing all that replacement work.
Okay, so what I'm saying is if either the hiring manager has a negative impression personality-wise of the candidate, or the candidate doesn't feel comfortable with the person who interviewed her, okay, is it worthwhile to say, no, I think you're making a mistake and try to get them to reconsider? Or is it best, they can let them make up their own mind about that? Anybody want to talk about that? You said a minute, Ernie, you said, well, take another look. Is that what you were saying? Essentially, don't be hasty.
You could probably make a statement, get that, but you don't want to stick us. You don't want to come across with either the candidate or the client as being, hey, you got to do this. It's a desperate move. You got to you're figuring out what the hell the hiring manager wants, and they got enough shit on their plate that they don't need you on their butt to push them. So they got to make their own decision. So at the end of it, if they hire them, you say, you made the decision. Well, you told me to. No, I didn't tell you to. You thought it out. And that's what you want to put yourself in that position. Clients don't want somebody who's going to be on their ass. They got enough people on their ass the whole time. They want a partner that'll help them fill their needs.
Tom, you want to comment on that?
No.
Why not? Haven't you ever had somebody who actually, since you're his clients, he always says they want a certain kind of person. So he's screening for a certain personality before they go in. I'm right about that, aren't I? Nod your
Correct.
head. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So does that prevent you from sending in people who are a mismatch? Haven't you had?
Absolutely. Oh, fucking absolutely.
Okay, but
Absolutely.
does anyone ever come back to you and say, Tom, I didn't feel comfortable talking to this person, or I didn't find him interesting. I don't know if I'd like to work with him. Anybody said that?
Sometimes I miss them all.
You get pissed. I think he got pissed and he left. Just
Yeah. I
You should have asked him.
me. We're moving on. Let me see.
Let's come back.
Okay. Oh, this is a business. I think this is another one from Clark. I've been reading a lot of Clark Wilcox's stuff lately from the Digital Recruiter, and he says business development is a long game. You have to do it regularly because you have to warm up prospects over time. So he believes in posting a lot on LinkedIn. It has to become second nature. Every day you're posting there. And
sometimes I miss the mark, and sometimes I mean, I would say it's rare, but occasionally I do.
okay, but doesn't the candidate ever come back to you, Tom, and say, look, I don't know, I'm not sure if I like this person's personality?
Oh, yeah. The candidate or the client?
The candidate this time. What do
I've
you
never
say?
had the candidate say they didn't like the personality. I've had the candidate say, not technical enough for me. I changed my mind. I want to be an engineer. I don't want to talk to people, stuff like that. But I've never had, that I can think of, had a candidate say they didn't like the personality of the person they were interviewing with. Now, I've had a guy recently say they heard rumors about a guy and didn't want to interview because the guy had a bad reputation, apparently, in one of the markets or something. I don't know what the deal was. But in general, no.
You know what? That reminds me of something I heard, I think just this morning or yesterday on Facebook, is that, that men are interested in things, not absolutely, and women more interested in people, okay? You're looking for, and they say that's why most engineers are men. You're looking for engineers who like people, who are interested in people. So that's an interesting combination there. And the woman who was talking said that's why engineers have trouble getting dates. They've got no personality. Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, that's why I looked for the ones with personality. And you could say that same thing about accountants. You could say that about actuaries. I mean, there are a lot of positions or roles or careers that attract introverts, nerdy, Dungeons and Dragons, pocket protector playing types of people. And when you can find the ones with the really good outgoing personalities, that's where I could make a lot of money.
I used to place a lot of accountants, and I never found that to be true. The typical bean counter stuff, yeah. Not only that, yeah. The ones I was working with were in the most sort of considered to be dull position.
Yeah, I mean, but the guys who were the guys who work for the Big Five or Big Four, whatever it is now, that are the business development guys. Those are accountants with amazing personalities.
Okay, so anyway, I didn't find them specifically that. Okay, but would you? Where was I? Yeah, would you ever try to talk a person into taking a job if they didn't like the? I'm going to leave that already. I'm bored. Okay. Nah. Ernie and I were talking about something else, but Ernie, here's the thing. This guy, Clark, he said that business development is a long game. You keep posting, you get people to see you and warm up to you. And finally, when they need you, they'll contact you. But that's not the way the people here work. I know it's not the way you work either, Ernie. If you see an ad, you call them to get the job now. You're not looking at 6 months from now. Am I right about that primarily?
You kind of got both. You kind of got both. The posting is there for just to get your name out there. But then I've always wondered when you post on LinkedIn, like who's looking at it? I mean, as we post as recruiters, are only recruiters looking at it? Because we live on LinkedIn.
You're supposed to have all kinds of people in the food industry as your contacts, right?
Well, yeah, but you see, who lives
for them,
on LinkedIn?
not for me.
Yeah, but who lives on LinkedIn? Who lives on LinkedIn and who looks at it every day? And it's not the VP of Ops, because if he's doing that, he's not doing a very good job.
That's an interesting issue. I have to ask Clark. I mean,
That's a very good point, Ernie. That's an amazing point.
Ernie's second. That's his second home run. Okay.
Yeah, one. I'm trying to go for the grand slam. But that's the thing I always wonder. Like, who looks at it? Because they look at all the likes and they're all my friends. Now I want the people that are out there.
Yeah, but we keep hearing from all these social media recruiters. If you pound it out there, just like Rich is always saying, I get tons of calls now from everybody. I'm posting.
Rich got tons of calls before he started posting.
No, he said
and the other thing is he's not posting himself. He has somebody posting.
Yeah, okay, but the point is he's got postings going up every day, and he says that it's I don't know if it's generating business. Okay, it's generating lots of contact. So somebody's looking at his stuff. That's in his industry, I assume.
I would say that I can tell when a post resonates with the clientele, candidates and clients that I'm looking for and when it doesn't, right? So I said this a couple of weeks ago. I made a post about salary disparities in civil engineering, and I got like 20 new connections that were all engineers, right?
Were they
And
job
that-
hunters? Were they job hunters?
Some were, and some just wanted to connect with me, right? Some were like, hey, Tom, I saw your post. I want to connect with you because I may be looking to make a move in 6 months and stuff like that. Some of them were looking now and I couldn't help them because they were schmoes or they were H-1B visa or living overseas. But in general, it resonated with them to the point where they all sent me connection requests. That doesn't happen on a lot of my posts. The ones that's what makes me want to like I keep doing it, because if I get the right post with the right hook and the right information, it resonates with the people that I want to resonate with.
Animal, can I ask him a follow-up question on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, Tom, when people say, I want to talk with you, I want to connect with you, do you actually connect with them? Do you reach out to them?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If someone connects to me like, hey, I'm looking to make a job change, hell yeah, I'll call him immediately.
Okay.
Also, Tom, he gets better action, it sounds like to me, from his postings in Reddit, in engineering group.
I get some okay. Again, that's one of those things you can only post like every 6 months.
Oh,
If
okay.
you post too much in Reddit, you get banned.
Oh, okay. So
They don't want
Rich,
me constantly in there doing that stuff.
Rich is the only one who's bragging about his fantastic results from posting on LinkedIn. And the thing is, we don't know though how much of that has turned into revenue. You know, I just got a feeling that Ernie burst the bubble on that one. Oh, you know, if you post there, everybody's going to see you. And he said, yeah, they'll see you, but nobody's there looking. Right? Nobody's going to see you in your
If you look at, we live on LinkedIn. You take something like ChatGPT or any of the AIs. You know, Tom's an expert in that shit, and everybody else knows it, and we do it. You talk to the common Joe Doe that's a VP of ops or a plant manager, they ain't done shit with it. And you look at it and you say, what's wrong here? Because their focus is somewhere else.
We live in a bubble. We think everyone knows about ChatGPT. We think everyone's integrated into LinkedIn. It's a bubble we live in, right?
Yeah,
50% or less.
are saying that they can transform your business if you do follow their instructions about posting.
I don't believe them.
Uh-oh.
I think it can help your business transform, right? Again, whenever someone says to me, I can transform your business, I can make you $1 million biller, I have to see they're full of shit. Can they make me better? What I do, yeah, of course, right? I probably am not the greatest when it comes to posting on LinkedIn. I probably could change and do some things, but transform my business?
Well, the
I
thing
don't see
is,
it.
here's my point. If what Ernie says is true, and that sounds reasonable to me, okay, you don't have much of a playing field there. I mean, the people are just not like us. You said we're different. We live on LinkedIn. Other people don't. They don't. So that's something to really explore. Okay, thank you, Ernie. Ernie was here 2 weeks ago. I told him, he gave another simple answer that just seemed to make so much sense, and here he is again today. Okay, you don't see me complimenting people like that too much. Okay, I'm going to do the ad for your guys' show. Tommy Pistachio Elascio has 3 shows, and on his Friday show, Ernie is there as well as a co-manager.
Ernie is a co-host. Yep.
That's what
Ernie
I
and
said. I'm Canadian, so he has to attack whatever kind of wording I use. Okay.
Manager. We're not managers. We're hosts.
We're hosts. Okay. So
Are you
Kelly.
a manager? Are you the manager of the animal
Yes,
show?
I am. Okay. Yeah.
We're Catholic. We're Catholics.
Don't
We're
make me
hosts.
dig in. Okay. TheRecruiterRoundtable.com. Am I right?
That is
Yeah.
correct. The recruiterroundtable.com.
Okay, if you go there, it'll give links to all his shows. He's got a Tuesday night show, a Friday at 12:30 p.m., where lots of people call in, and Tom knows all kinds of tech stuff. And you can see from here, these guys are fonts of practical day-to-day nitty-gritty wisdom. Okay, but also, if you just go to the notes from this show, if you've watched this far, then there's a link to his stuff. There's a link to Dominic's show, which is Thursday at noon, and also to Rich's class, which is Thursday at 8:45. Anything else we have to say before we depart?
No,
Okay, it was fun.
nothing I can think of.
Geez, was this recording?
I hope so. It told me it was recording whenever I went to
Yeah,
join
it
in.
is recording. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
See ya, Animal. Bye, guys.
Bye.